Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and now that we're meeting the Kang Dynasty and the whole Council of Kangs and Quantumania and Marvel Phase 5 beyond, it's easy to see them as a collective mass of screaming madmen with a decentralized organizational structure, what I assume Tommy is referring to when he says the Bills Mafia. But the truth is, as with any dynasty or any council, not all Kangs were created equal, and there is very much a hierarchy and a lot of drama. So I'm gonna break down the 12 Kangs that we have met so far in the MCU, explain who they are, and rank them based on what we know about them from the comics, but more importantly, how the MCU so far seems to be casting them, based on the limited contextual clues we've been able to find. And we're gonna rank them by how powerful each one is, how deadly they are, how truly influential they are on the rest of the MCU multiverse. So let's do this. Every Kang ranked! Let's get cranked! Also, subscribe to our new channel, The Deep Dive, where I did a very detailed look back into Loki Season 1, and you can support our growing network by grabbing some merch at nerdriot.shop, like something from the Deep Dive collection. Okay, let's start with a quick reminder of the Kangs we have yet to see who are not in the MCU yet, but may have pretty important roles in coming titles. So we got Iron Lad, the young Nathaniel Richards variant who breaks good and leads the Young Avengers, and Kang Prime, the all-powerful Kang at the end of all time, whom the Avengers fight in the Avengers Unleashed Kang War storyline. Kamala Kang, who is able to stretch herself beyond space and time. You got Kid Immortus, a version of Iron Lad who breaks bad, a Galactus-powered Kang the Time Eater, and dozens of more wacky and awesome ones. But let's look at the 12 forms of Kang who have been introduced so far and rank them based on how the MCU seems to have rescaled their overall influence. Starting at the bottom, number 12, the Timekeepers. So the comic Timekeepers are not Kangs. They're their own beings who exert a greater degree of influence over the time stream, but the MCU Timekeepers are robotic puppets who are used by Kang variant He Who Remains to maintain control over the TVA. And since the TVA is a secret to most of existence, the Timekeepers are really only as powerful as Ms. Minutes is. They're just really in-office corporate mascots to keep the employees motivated. But yes, I do consider these forms of Kang, however, as they are voiced by Jonathan Majors, and one could argue many Kangs are disguises and masks worn by other Kangs. Okay, number 11, the Nathaniel Richardses, the scientists. These are the altruistic Nathans who made first contact with each other in the 31st century and shared their resources, described in He Who Remains origin story in the Loki Season 1 finale. These guys don't seem too dangerous, and we have to assume many of these scientists died in the multiversal war, but some of them may have survived to become the deadlier Kangs we meet later. It's just really impossible to know. Number 10, Reptilian Kang. This is a blue-skinned, weirdo-looking Kang that we see at the end of the Quantumania mid-credit scene, and I believe he actually might be the Reptilian Kang from Earth Mesozoic 24, in which Earth is inhabited by intelligent reptilian humanoids instead of humans. We actually got a close-up of Majors in this makeup and some Twitter photos, and I rank him low because, really? He's just sitting in the cheap seats. Real nosebleed section of the arena. So how important could he be, really? He kind of looks like one Kang's weirdo Kang friend who he invited because he felt bad for him. But really, equally on Reptilian Kang's tier, I rank all the screaming fanboy Kangs in the stands. I think there is a distinction between the Kangs in the crowd and the Kangs on the field. Kind of like that SNL 40th anniversary event. Being in the 8H studio audience was an honor, but if you didn't get stage time, you were trash. Okay, so this brings us down to the field. You got Dreadlocks Kang. We see this Kang appear briefly on the right side of frame. This guy looks ready to brawl. And I rank all the other Kangs that we see on the field on this guy's level. We don't know if all of them are that deadly, but there is a reason the others are cheering for them. But right up front and center is an armored Kang, maybe Doom Kang. He wears black medieval style armor, which you could say looks similar to that of Victor Von Doom, but it isn't really exact. There is a Kang in the comics who fuses with Dr. Doom, an extremely powerful force. It's just that we don't have much to go on other than the armor to conclude that this might be Doom Kang. But the fact that he is so armored up, one has to assume he's pretty deadly. Okay, I'm gonna sneak in another one here. Number 7, Victor Timely. So comic rankings list this Kang as one of the weaker Kangs, since he was more of a common man, a Thomas Edison style inventor in 1901. He didn't really get in a lot of fights or wars, but I rank the MCU Victor Timeline higher because he was not among the other Kangs summoned to the arena, and he's considered a high priority person of interest by Loki and Mobius. And if Victor Timely was the root of all advanced 20th century tech, Stark Tech, Pym Tech, Shield Tech, and if he actually did encode a failsafe switch into all of AI that he can control like he did the Sentinels in the comics, he could end up being very dangerous. And I think right above him is another Kang we saw in the field, the recipient of all of that tinkering, Mr. Griffin. And I know I've called him Mr. Griffin in other videos, but it's just because I read his name in the comics and I was like, oh, it's Griffin. And I had a Hermione situation in my head. But anyway, it's Mr. Griffin. And yes, we did see him, or who I think is him, on that arena floor wearing a slim suit. He is the CEO of Kang Enterprises, who we're now pretty sure is the one who bought Avengers Tower. As a present day MCU Kang with control over the most recent Avengers weaponry and technology, he is essentially as powerful as all other Earthbound forces in the MCU, plus, you know, he's got the power of timeline manipulation. Now, a lot of people have given up on being good at sleep, but it's only because they don't realize what a difference good sleep gear makes. You can level up your sleep game overnight with Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding customized to fit your needs and shipped right to your door. And look, I'm not a sleepologist or anything, but I don't need to be. Helix has a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type and your sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. You can even take it with a partner and find the mattress that is a perfect compromise between your preferences. I took the quiz with my wife. We wanted a medium firm mattress with lumbar support that sleeps cool, and now that we're newlyweds, we upgraded to a Dusk Lux Helix mattress, king size. We just unrolled it, and you know what? We completely love it. We're both sleeping better. We wake up less often than we used to. And again, Helix delivers your mattress order right to your door for free. It comes rolled up in a shockingly tiny box, and it's super easy to set up yourself. Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you'll get more than 3 months to make sure that you love your mattress. And if you don't, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. And these mattresses also have a 10-year warranty. That's an entire decade. Helix even has financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night of sleep is never far away. I love my Helix, and I think you would too. And if you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix. You can click the link below or go to helixsleep.com/newrockstars to get 20% off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows. Okay, number 5, Kang the Conqueror, aka the Exiled One. This is the Kang from Quantumania. He ranks pretty high because he started the multiversal war from He Who Remains story, and it was revealed that this Kang has the blood of trillions of lives on his hands. It did something in particular to really piss off the Scarlet Centurion. However, this guy's also got some pretty big blind spots. He did allow his ship to get sabotaged, and he got overwhelmed by some advanced ants who broke his suit and made it so that Scott Lang could hang in there long enough for a Jake Paul split decision. However, if we assume this Kang isn't dead but just got trapped in a probability storm, we could even go as far as to say he might be Kang Prime someday. Now, topping this Kang, in my opinion, are the 3 who mutinied against him. And you could say that one-on-one, Kang the Conqueror could take any one of them down, but let's be honest, there are strength in numbers, and the ability to cooperate and form alliances with other Kangs does elevate one's individual status. So here we have the 3 that we saw in the mid-credit scene, but among these 3, there is an internal hierarchy. So number 4 on our list, Pharaoh Rama-Tut. This was the earliest Time Lord in Marvel Comics who would later be retconned to be Kang. He appeared in 1963's Fantastic Four number 19. Rama-Tut was a guy who used the Sphinx as a time machine and ruled over ancient Egypt. We later learned to create the fabled N'Saba-Nur, aka the earliest mutant on Earth, Apocalypse, but he was overwhelmed by the Fantastic Four. But this Pharaoh Rama-Tut has an android body in his lower half, telling us that he may have had a different backstory. Peyton Reed has indicated that all 3 of these guys aren't exactly the comics forms, but really versions of them, nods to them. Bringing us to number 3, Scarlet Centurion. Peyton Reed also confirmed that this robotic Kang, who looks nothing like Scarlet Centurion, is their version of Scarlet Centurion. But the Centurion is the form that Kang takes after leaving ancient Egypt, getting caught in a temporal storm, and taking on a form that evoked Dr. Doom. So this robotic suit may be what the MCU has in mind for their Doom. I kinda hope not. He ranks higher than Rama-Tut because he calls the other 2 when the Exiled One dies, and unlike Rama-Tut, Scarlet Centurion does not bow to Immortus. So number 2 on our list, Immortus. He seems to be the leader or the elder of these 3. While Centurion summons the 3 of them, Immortus calls the 1,000 others. He seems to have insights into the sacred timeline and the Avengers that the others don't. And in the comics, Immortus was appointed by the Timekeepers to watch over the timeline from the various threats and to repair the mess left by his previous incarnation. And on the page, he's often considered one of the most powerful Kangs, but not here in the MCU, because at the top of our ranking is number 1, He Who Remains. Because while Kang the Conqueror started the multiversal war, these 3 Kangs were unable to end it. They fell victim to him. The only one who ended this war was He Who Remains, because he was able to weaponize Alioth. Yes, Sylvie did stab He Who Remains, but the fact that his death unleashed all of this madness tells you how important he was and is, because I don't think we're done with him, and we still do not know the full extent of his power. It's possible even that he remains is or was one of the others on our list, Victor Timely, Mr. Griffin, and if so, we will soon learn how entrenched he was in MCU history, as He Who Remains would have been the one Kang who could still exist within the sacred timeline as it was previously written. So until the Exiled One returns as Kang Prime, I think we will all look back and see He Remains as the devil that the others were the most afraid of. Hey, a reminder to subscribe to our new channel, The Deep Dive, and support us by grabbing some merch at nerdriot.shop. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, bye.